the Fredericksburg Center for the Creative Arts, July 2021, Messages in Color, National Juried All Media Exhibition. Our gallery is open to the public on Thursday and Friday from noon to 4, Saturday 11 a.m. to 4 p.m., Sunday 1 to 4 p.m., and we hope to soon be able to add on extended hours by having Mondays open, so check our website. Thanks to videographer David Kennedy, we're able to provide YouTube videos that are also linked on our website at www.fccagallery.org. Please invite your friends and family to come to visit the exhibits in person. This month in our members gallery, we have a trio 3D multimedia exhibition featuring Kathy Ambrose Smith, Catherine Owens, and Joan Powell. You're invited to visit our exhibitions and enjoy our wonderful home, the Silversmith House, circa 1785, located on the beautiful Rappahannock River in downtown historic Fredericksburg. The July Messages in Color exhibition provided artists with an opportunity to submit work specifically to a theme. This challenged the juror Don Crow of Richmond, Virginia, to select a limited number of works from the many entries and to form a cohesive exhibition with a broad thematic focus open to the interpretation of the viewer. Don Crow is a teacher, painter, and collage artist who has been awarded numerous grants and distinctions, including the Pollock Award for Excellence in the Visual Arts. Don Crow has taught at VCU in Richmond and Doha, Qatar, and worked as a visiting artist at Oregon College of Art and Design in Portland. His paintings and collages have investigated tensions between muteness and expressiveness, as surfaces and images become subsumed by process and recollection. He lives and works in Richmond, Virginia, with his wife and 2 cats. Don has juried shows years ago for us, and we're just so glad that he was able to fit into his schedule during this month for the FCCA. Don?
Hello, my name is Don Crow, and I'm happy to be here in Fredericksburg. You can't see much of this room from this corner that you're looking at, but this is a fabulous room I'm in. This is quite an old house. It's been many things in its lifetime. The ceiling here is probably about 10 feet high. The rooms are proportioned somewhat exquisitely to show this work and hang this work. So I think it's a fabulous place to, as an artist, to have your work hang. The show is called Messages in Color. I'll say first off, I don't know what completely to think about color. Color confuses me often. I think I spend most of my days trying to shut it out of my life. If I walk into a Kroger store, there's so much color walking down the cereal aisle that I'm just going to get yogurt. I'm not going to look at any of that color in that store. As I came up here on 95, the colors that assaulted me the most were certain cars with colors that I wouldn't own. I think I spend most of my time blocking color. And so when I go into my studio to actually use it, it's somewhat difficult to use because I think I should be saying something and I don't allow the color to say something. I don't often listen to color. I kind of try to command color. And so I get my own way using color. And I think most of the artists in here don't do that. Most of the artists in here, I think, trust color for itself. And that's one thing I'm always trying to continually learn myself. This was a difficult show to pick out the works that achieved a certain rating in terms of honorable or first or second, third place, but I think all the work in here is quality work and deserving of appreciation and a serious look. Now I would like to talk about some of the works that achieved awards. Okay, the first piece I'd like to talk about is Magnum by Keith Beale. And here it's pretty clear what you're looking at. You're looking at 2 guns crossed, a monochrome figure in blue, just cropped, and again this plate of fabric back here. And for me, this piece reminds me of late 50s through 60s through 70s. I think of California, Miami, but more California in the film industry. I think of Westerns, black and white movies, Hawaiian shirts, colored fabrics of the West on furniture and drapes. So it's kind of it's a reframing of the images that I'm looking at. Okay, a couple other things I would like to say about this piece is I love the surprise in the eyes and the open mouth. And then I also love the way this parrot has been cropped right below this pistol head here, and then the green itself against this red. This is kind of a neutral play in here, but I think in terms of the depth of the red, the stridency of the green, the soft violet in here against that blue is really a nice color play. Okay, the second piece I chose for an honorable mention is Flowers in the Rain by Teresa Blatt. And Teresa has 3 pieces in its exhibition, and all of them are of equal quality, but this one here gets the award. And for one reason is I love the stridency of the blue. This piece seems to be all about this intense blue here and this white. The diagonal play of the blue as it goes up with this cross diagonal play of the marking back behind it, I think sets up a pretty interesting tension. The other thing is that I like about this piece is I love the whimsy that Teresa works with. So up here we have a butterfly. From a butterfly we move to an ostrich. From an ostrich we move to a cat. From a cat we move to some other animal. Another animal here. From here we move to a snail, to a bird. And so there's something quirky and whimsical about that. How do they relate to this composition? They relate to the border. Do they tell a narrative? Do they have a story? I don't necessarily think so. I think it's just a love of nature. It's an interesting play of scale. This is more an abstraction than the narrative, but the intricacy that she works with is kind of jewel-like in a way, and I'm sure it's deeply meditative as she's working on these pieces. The red against the blue also is just a really strong color play. The piece is primarily cool, primarily abstract. This is a great open corner here that she opens this up, that she doesn't continue that area. So overall, I thought this was a really successful piece. Okay, the third honorable mention is Wake Up and Sparkle by McClintock. And this is an image, there are so many thousands of images out there, so many thousands of images of, say, birds in flight, birds along the water. What makes this image special? What makes this image special for me is that somebody witnessed it for me. Somebody found this bird in the viewfinder, this special moment where the bird is standing completely still, not in flight, listening, doing whatever this bird is doing. And as the viewer, as the photographer is looking through the lens here, I'm sure that they're blocking out, through that process of the intensity of looking through the lens, they're blocking out everything around them, and they're only seeing this halo effect around the bird itself, this orange, this translucent orange coming through the beak, the sparkle on the water, the reflection on the water, the idea of, were they able to see all this nuance back in here in terms of the greens and the blues? Probably not, because there's something like a miracle here in terms of the stillness of this bird against the rushing water, against the light, and light and color in the natural world is what this photograph represents for me. And then kind of honoring life itself. And the photographer's need to capture that and share that with us. The fourth honorable mention is this painting by Beka Wueste. It's called Mare-y-gold, Ode to an Aztec Horse. And I really don't know what to think about this painting, but I do think about it a lot. It's kind of, it's iconic for me. Once you see it, you can't forget it. And as an icon, there's a certain stillness about it. The color intensity is obviously clear to you. It's warm and cool. And having said that, that doesn't really say anything. But there's a vibration here that's just amazing. This movement of light as it moves up and vibrates and up in this upward diagonal direction, and then changes a slight direction here diagonally coming up in this direction, and then echoes this again coming up in this direction. I love the composition itself. I love the cropping of the ears of the horse, stealing the whole image. I love the kind of the awkwardness of this horizontal brushstroke as it moves into this vertical play here. This is done with such ease and such confidence that I'm kind of amazed by it. I would have to get in here and be busy somehow as an artist, and I don't think I could trust it if this wasn't done in such a regulated way. I love the understated brushwork in here, and then again on this mane coming over top, the closed eyes of the horse, the downward tilt. There's an inward quality to this painting that I think is really pretty astounding. Okay, it could also be reminiscent or remind you of paintings by Franz Marc, his blue horses, his violet horses, green horses, etc. are really quite beautiful. Even Gauguin, his colored horses. But this horse is painted by somebody who seems really earthbound. There's a certain gravity to it. And the inwardness of this horse is completely different than those other artists. And so I think it's a pretty magical painting. Now we're moving on to first, second, and third place. Third place, I've awarded the award to Ellyn Wenzler, and this painting is called Standing My Ground. It's a small acrylic painting. It's on a canvas weave paper. It rewards a close looking. And the first thing that grabs my eye, aside from the color, is this small line that's within the painting. The line, when I look at it, the line guides me, and it guides the artist painting the shapes, but the line also seems to be, on some of my lookings at this painting, it almost seems to be embarrassed to be there. So the line doesn't have to be there because the color would separate itself without the line. But as I said, the line guides the painting, but I get back in here and it looks almost like this line would disappear if it could and just let color be color. But in spite of having said that, I love this kind of tension that the line gives against the color. In terms of this painting, the use of scale from small to large shapes, this use of kind of a black in here, a brownish black to give the painting weight against this awkward teal. For me, this is kind of an awkward crimson violet color that I can't quite hold on to. This is like a dirty application of paint that's interesting to me because it's not really dirty, but it's not pure. It's not like a purebred dog, it's more like a mutt, and I'm always more interested in mutts than I am in a purebred dog. There's something casual about this application that I like a great deal. And if you look at the lights in here, like a little bit of light back in here, the way she uses light up in here, a little bit up in here, back up in here. She pulls her eye around this painting, I think effortlessly. There's no speed, there's complete attention to application. There's no nervousness in the painting. If anything, the line gives it a little bit of brittleness that I think need. And then again, the teal against the violet also helps a great deal in that way. But I think the overall composition, the breakup of this large shape, and this large shape against all the small play of shapes, I think is very successful. For second place, I've awarded the prize to Linda Larochelle. And the piece is called Please No Photos. I think this is a pretty wonderful piece. You can see for yourself the way the figure sits in the ground. I love the color of the ground. It's neither blue nor violet. It's somewhere in between there, kind of a grayish thing. The temperature is, for me, a little bit indeterminate. The way the legs and arms are disconnected but then come together to make this figure of volume amazes me. It's Matissean in that sense. The line quality, I think, also for the eyes and the lips are Matissean in that sense, kind of This is a lino cut, so those are carved into a material. Matisse would carve the line right into paint, but there's a looseness and a confidence with this line. She doesn't want her image taken. She doesn't want to be represented as a flat image. Even though this is represented in terms of flat shape, there's a fullness and roundness and volume to this figure, and an internal quality, again, to the figure that can't be captured. What can't be captured is the ease with which this figure is sitting in space. Okay, and for first place, I've chosen Constrained Conversations #2, and there's another painting in this exhibition called Constrained Conversations #1, and they're very similar to each other. You'd have to see them next to each other. They do share a wall together, and when you come to the show, you'll be able to see and contrast the two. And this painting seems like an unusual painting to choose for an award in this show, which is about color. It probably has the least amount of color in kind of an active sense in the show. And then just looking at my notes, like, why did I choose this painting? It kind of, I think it's a slow burn, this painting. I think it almost needs to be by itself. It could be with the other conversation in terms of Constrained Conversation #2, but it can't stand a lot of contrast other than that. You can't put something too bright next to it and actually find out what this painting is about. This painting could stay on this wall by itself. You could have a couch in the end of this room, you could have a TV there, and you could look over here, and you could kind of come in and out of this painting. It's a slow painting. A number of reasons I like it is because it feels like a painting that was found rather than constructed. It feels like there were multiple decisions made on this painting, and then they were wiped out or erased, pushed back for whatever reason. And then kind of the opposite thing is happening with yellow that's supposed to happen. So Kandinsky has yellow as kind of the brightest color, this color of joy. And Kandinsky has color, he assigns each color a shape, and for yellow he assigns the triangle. And this is kind of the opposite of Kandinsky's yellow. This is kind of a tired yellow, if yellow could be tired. It doesn't necessarily elicit joy, but it does elicit light, or it does still hold some promise to it. It doesn't develop into a hard shape. Nothing develops into a hard shape here. This is kind of close to the golden mean here. There's a grid underplay under this. There's some textural plays on it. The paint is really relatively thin, so there's not a lot of impasto. The composition is a little bit dreamy. It's not harsh, it works well enough. You can float across it, you can go in and out of it. And I think of this painting as kind of a lamentation, and a lamentation that doesn't necessarily belong to the artist. It's not like a personal feeling of loss, a personal feeling of sadness. It's an elegy in terms of time having moved on, in a sense, from all of us, not from just one individual. And if I chose an adjective for this painting, it wouldn't be sad, because sad is too passive, and it wouldn't be gloomy, because gloomy is too fleeting, in a sense. So with this painting, if you were in a room by yourself with this painting, with this yellow and this washed out blue-gray, this little movement of surface here, hint of orange, hint of grid, hint of mark, everything's disappearing. Nothing's asserting itself too strongly. And for me, there's kind of a wishfulness about it, and a belief in color, a belief in white, off-white, a belief in orange, a belief in the power of yellow against the steel gray. That makes it an interesting painting for me.
want to thank Don Crow for coming to Fredericksburg. We know about using Route 95 from Richmond, so you have done the gauntlet today and have to head home with rush hour. So we thank you very much. Thank you for watching our video. Remember to invite your friends to our gallery. We'd love to invite you inside to enjoy the actual work in the Members Gallery and the Frederick Gallery. And Don, you have a fantastic trip home.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, thank you very much. Come see the show.
The Fredericksburg Center for the Creative Arts, where art and history meet.